Assalamu alaikum students. Hope so you all are doing well. And the first unit of class 5th science is classification of living things. So dear students, before going to start this unit, first of all we have to know that what are living things. Dear students, living things move, living things grow, living things reproduce. They reproduce their own kind. Living things are dependent on their environment. How they are dependent on their environment? They are dependent on their environment in a way like they need food, they need water, they need light, they need temperature, and all of these they get from their environment. That's why they are considered that they are dependent on their environment. So come towards the unit, that is the classification of living things. So now what is classification? The action or process of classifying something, that is known as classification. Now what does it mean, classifying? Classifying means darja bandi, means a group of people or things, like grouping some things into groups and subgroups. This is known as what? Classification. Examples. Here examples are given, and these are the examples of the classification. Like we have classify all the animals into a group that is known, that is the group, the big group, the large group, that is known as a kingdom. And all the animals are classified, they are grouped into a large group that is known as kingdom Animalia. As you can see clearly in the diagram, and all the plants are grouped into a large group or kingdom that is known as kingdom Plantae. And so on, you can see the different kingdoms: kingdom Fungi, Monera, Protista, and inshallah we will do this in detail in the upcoming topics. And students, now we will do some terminologies that are present on page number 3 in your book. The first one is biologist. Who are biologists? Scientists who study living things are called biologists. You can see some pictures related to this topic, this terminology. Another terminology that is used in your book on page number 3 is kingdom. As I told you earlier, that kingdoms are the large groups. Like living things can be dividing into large groups called kingdoms. Examples are kingdom Fungi, kingdom Plantae. It contains either flowering plants or non-flowering plants. Kingdom Animalia. Okay students, the next topic is, okay, before going to the viruses, let's do the questions related to this topic that is present. The questions are present on page number 13. The first question that is present on page number 13, that is, why is the classification of living things necessary? Like why we do classification? So students, we do classification for our own ease. When we do classification, it is easy for us to study the different things, like we divide them into groups, and it helps us to understand that how all the different things in the world fit into a pattern. And the next question related to this topic is that how many different kinds of plants and animals have biologists discovered so far. And you know what, students, that about more than 1 million different kinds of animals and more than 350,000 kinds of plants have discovered by biologists. So I hope so this topic is clear to all of you. And now move on to the next topic, that is viruses. So now, what are viruses? Viruses are small particles which show the characteristics of both living and non-living things. And they are also considered that they are on the borderline between the living and non-living. Why they are considered? We will do this, that why they are considered as on the borderline between the living and non-living, because they have the characteristics of both living and the non-living. So the first one, that is the what are viruses made of? So students, viruses are made of chemicals. These chemicals may be either DNA or RNA that is also found in your body. As you can see the DNA or RNA in the given diagram. And the next question arises that are viruses alive? So some scientists say that viruses are not really alive. Why? Because viruses can only reproduce whenever they enter a living cell. Whenever they found a living host, they start reproducing, and they reproduce their own copies, and they make hundreds of copies of itself. They take over the healthy cell and destroy it, and then it make the plant or the animal ill. And here are some diseases caused by the viruses in humans: common cold, influenza, polio, rabies, and chickenpox, and so many more. And here your topic is finished. I hope so you all get it. Thank you.